Hello and welcome to another amazing episode with Coach Joel. Today, Coach Joel is going to be answering frequently asked questions about the mix and the belt technique. So come on, get your pens and get ready to learn. The first question says, what exactly is the difference between the mix and the belt?
Well, the mixed voice has a light quality in singing. It is not deep and extremely thick. It's like the combination of both the head voice and the chest voice, the coordination, the elements of both registers joined together. So in every mixed voice, there's always a sense of lightness in it. And then for the belting is always thick, bold, strong, and high. Can be as high as the mix, although not as high as the mix, but high to a mixy particular section of the mixed voice range, but not that kind of high as the mix. But it can be high enough, and in that high enough range, it has to be very thick and strong. That is a belt.
Over to the next. So, is belting harmful to the voice?
Absolutely not. Alright, belting is not harmful. If you get the proper approach, the proper placements, the proper body movements, if you allow the space, if you allow the air to come out freely, then you won't feel any kind of tension or strain when you are belting. Alright? All it needs is that chest resonance, you spreading your mouth when you reach a higher note, and allowing the air to pass through. As simple and easy as that. So belting does not hurt you at all. Remember the rule of singing: if it hurts you, there's something you are doing wrong.
Can everyone learn to belt and mix effectively, or is it reserved for just some voice types?
Even bars has the mixed voice. The only thing is the mixed voice for a bass singer will be lower than the mixed voice for a tenor singer. But nevertheless, it doesn't mean that the bass singer can't sing on mixed simply because they sing low notes. Every vocal type have their mixed voice. Every vocal type has their belt. So every vocal type can do any kind of singing technique.
Wow. So how can someone identify their comfortable range for belting or mixing?
Well, for the mixed voice, to identify your range for the mixed voice, it's not necessarily about identification. It's more like feeling. All right. When you are using your mixed voice, you get that resonance in your nasal cavity and pharynx. Plus, you get the nasal resonance in your nasal. You get the resonance in your nasal cavity and pharynx. That's one. Number two, the coordination is light and strong at the same time. And number three, when you are using your mixed voice, you can do it with any kind of vowel you like, even with the oo and the e vowel. But for the belting, you can't use the oo and the e vowel to belt. You can only use the a and the a vowel. Some people feel they can still use o vowel to belt. Maybe at some point, yes, but in most cases, it's always the a and the e vowel they used for belt, and belting is always strong, and belting is mostly on the chest voice. So it's actually on the chest voice because of the vocal cord coordination that is demanded to make a belt sound. So yeah, that's just the difference.
The next question says, what are some common mistakes people do when they're mixing or belting?
Common mistakes. Don't pull chest when you're trying to mix. Alright? Yes, you can use the chest voice to help you find your mixed voice. But when you're trying to do the mixed voice, if you are trying to use your mixed voice, don't concentrate your resonance on the chest. Concentrate the resonance in your nasal cavity and your pharynx. When you're trying to belt, concentrate the resonance on the chest. And when you're trying to belt, make sure there is that space that is allowing your breath to come out freely. Do not allow anything to block it. Not your tongue, not your mouth, not your whatever. And another common mistake people used to belt is they try to force. Belting is not about forcing. You don't force a belt. You just make it happen. Like I said, when you are belting, you have to know that the sound you are releasing is pure air. So you allow that thing to come out freely. Don't strong it, don't force it, just let it out, open that mouth. That is for belting. Common mistakes is people try to force it out and they end up screaming. In fact, that's a common mistake for both mixed voice and belting. People scream to get it. You don't scream to get those registers or technique respectively. You use the technique wisely. So don't scream, don't shout. Alright?
This question says, how can I develop good breath support for both techniques?
Focus on how you exhale. Many people feel that when it comes to breath support is how much air you take in to be able to make that expansion happen. But the main thing is how you release the air. That's why most vocal exercises concerning breathing is always targeted towards exhalation. How you are taking the air out is what matters. Alright, that's why most of the exercises are always because this particular activities help you to minimize the amount of air that is coming out of your mouth in order for you to know what it feels like to keep the expansion that took place when you breathe in as you are singing. Alright, so you focus on exhalation, focus on not letting the air out too fast. So 7th question,
are there specific skills, exercises tailored to improve belting and mixing?
Yes, there are. For the mixing, it's a very concentrated exercise that has to do with you, first of all, using your vocal fry. You can use your vocal fry and then you transition and slide into that thick sound. But whatever it has to do with proper coordination. All the exercises are there to make sure your coordination is, your vocal folds are closed, your there's proper flow phonation, and there's good resonance in it. So that's why most of the exercises for mixed voice are exercises like the cry and the wah and the neigh. Those exercises help you find your mixed voice. And for the belting, there are exercises for belting, yeah, but it's mainly you just have to make sure you are. Let me just say the perfect exercise for belting is the one where you stick your tongue out and you say yeah, yeah, yeah. But this time now, you make sure you concentrate on the chest resonance. That's kind of like the perfect exercise for belting.
Are there singers that are exceptional for the mixing and belting technique? Give us examples.
For belting, I would say mostly Disney movies. They do a lot of belting in Disney songs. But singers that are known, I'm not really familiar with much of them. But for the mix, let me just say singers like Louis Tomlinson. Yeah, is more He uses the mixed voice a lot. Louis Tomlinson does From One Direction, and Ed Sheeran uses mixed voice too to sing. Chester Bennington too from Linkin Park uses mixed voice too. And then for the belting, I don't really know her name, but she's one of the judges in X Factors at some point. I've forgotten her name. That's one of the examples I saw for very good belts. And I don't really know that much of them. Most of the songs I sing personally are not popular songs. I listen to Michael Learns to Rock. I listen to Andy Grammer. And most of them don't really apply. They just sing because they just want to sing.
What should be our priority when practicing the belt and the mix technique?
Priority. Alright, everybody's top priority when practicing the mix and belting technique. I'll say it again. Try not to shout. That should be the priority, and make sure you don't feel pain when you are doing them. Alright, if you are feeling pain, then probably there's something you still need to fix up. Alright, but if you get tired, and again, if you start to get tired, please stop, pause for a while, probably like an hour or two, then continue. Alright, that should be a priority. To not allow don't force things. Exactly, that's another thing. Don't force it. Don't try to struggle. And if you crack when you're trying to find your mixed voice, just know that is completely normal. But for belting, the priority should be getting the technique correctly. It's not about hearing the exercise and doing it. You have to make sure you understand why you are doing those exercises. Alright, for instance, sticking your tongue out is that exercise I mentioned about sticking your tongue out is to ensure that the tongue is not retracted and the air is coming out freely. The is to give you that open and widespready kind of sound, and you just making sure you're staying on the chest resonance, like you are screaming, but you are not actually screaming. So that's just how it is for the belt.
Are the learning journeys for individuals practicing mix and belting different?
From what I believe, there's not much difference for individuals, because I believe the human body works the same way. Not the way people respond to things are different, but singing is a physical activity. Alright, so push-ups are, for instance, push-ups are designed to help you build your chest. People do push-up end up having big chest. So that's the same thing with this one. If you get the coordinations and the placements correctly, you're gonna get it. But if there's anything that you need to understand is for the mix, some people already know how to do it right from time. Some people don't know how to do it, so they flip into falsetto or pull chest voice. So for the mix, there might be a cracking, and that cracking might not end just immediately for some individuals, and it might end immediately for others. But no matter what happens, in the end, you will get it right. That's just a guarantee, as long as you are doing the exercises correctly. So I hope I've answered this question, and I hope now you understand that anybody can actually use these techniques the right way without hurting themselves or feeling pain. Well, I hope right now you have learned one or two. Thank you all for listening. My name is Joel Okoeguale, and I'll see you next time. Bye.